What if South Africa's biggest challenge isn't illegal immigration, but how it is responding to it? Every sovereign nation has the right to enforce its immigration laws. No one disputes that. But there is a clear difference between lawful enforcement and allowing vigilant groups to take the law into their own hands. My advice to President Cyril Ramaphosa: Mr. President, don't allow vigilantism to be what defines how you deal with illegality. It is true that every country wants to document all visitors who are in their country, but you don't allow half-naked individuals to be running around the streets of Johannesburg or Durban, moving from shop to shop trying to determine who is documented or who is not documented. Across parts of South Africa, there have been reports of self-appointed groups intimidating people, raiding businesses, and demanding proof of immigration status, and it's everywhere on social media. This raises serious questions about the rule of law. Identifying undocumented immigrants is the responsibility of trained law enforcement officers, not angry crowds on the streets. Someone said, and I agree, they have started going for the foreigners. When they are done with the foreigners, they now turn to Veda and Veda Padi to Sunga, giving meaning to the famous aphorism, if you remember City by Martin Nemo. First they came for the Jews, and I said nothing because I was not a Jew. Then they came for the communists. Then they came for me. And I hope that the administration of Cyril Ramaphosa will do something about it. Another important point is the distinction between xenophobia and what some commentators describe as Afrophobia. They argue that many of the attacks appear to target fellow Africans, specifically making the issue more complex and general hostility towards foreigners. But because black South Africans are suffering from what is called the Stockholm Syndrome, they love their tormentors who are not black. That is why it is not even xenophobia anymore. It is Afrophobia. It is Africa they do not want. It is the whites who still control 70% of their land. It is the whites who run the enclave called Orania, where black are not allowed. Is this what Nelson Mandela fought for? So when you look at it and you see even the very caged responses, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, it is only 1 month after he is coming out to make addresses, trying to be more diplomatic as he can be. But you can see in his heart of heart that he is with the men and women on the street, because these individuals, through their act, have led others to commit murder. 2 Nigerians have been killed, 5 Mozambicans dead. They have led others to lose their property. The Ghanaians have taken away or repatriated nearly over 300 persons from South Africa. Nigeria brought back over 800 because they are saying that fellow Africans are criminal. You imagine that if you took away all the criminals in South Africa or all the foreigners in South Africa will be heaven without crime. Yet statistics show that 90% of those in jail are South African men, which means that they are the ones who are committing the crime. If there is one odd non-South African engaged in this, let them be dealt with in accordance with the law. The argument that Africans, migrants, are responsible for unemployment also deserve closer scrutiny. Many migrants from countries such as Nigeria, Somalia, Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, and neighboring African countries have established businesses that employ both South Africans and fellow Africans. And their claim is that fellow Africans are taking away jobs from them. A complete lie. Fellow Africans are creating jobs for them. If you have gone to South Africa, you will see individuals from Somalia, from Ethiopia, from Nigeria, from Ghana and Kenya. They are the ones who are creating jobs where there were no opportunities. So even if they were not documented, I would regularize them because they are adding value to the economy. Crime is another area where caution is needed. Criminals should be prosecuted regardless of nationality. That is why there is law. But blaming an entire community without evidence undermines justice. Individual crime requires individual accountability. History also matters. And we must remember, during the struggle against apartheid, statistics tells that anything between 40,000 and 60,000 South Africans were in exile in Mozambique, in Tanzania, in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in Nigeria, and in Kenya. During the apartheid, thousands of South Africans found refuge across the African continent. Countries including Mozambique, Tanzania, Zambia, Kenya, and Nigeria, and others opened their doors when South Africans needed solidarity. That shared history should not be forgotten. If this tension continues, South Africa could face unintended consequences. Tourism may decline, fewer international students may choose South African universities, investors' confidence could suffer, and the country's reputation as a leading African economy could be damaged. The answer is not retaliation against South Africans living in other African countries. Responding to hate with more hate only deepens division. Instead, South Africa's government should firmly enforce immigration laws through legal institutions, investigate acts of violence, and prosecute anyone responsible for intimidation, looting, or attacks, regardless of who they are. In the end, the real test of leadership is not how loudly a government speaks, but how consistently they protect the rule of law, human dignity, and justice for everyone. What are your thoughts? South Africa balance border security with respect for human rights and African unity? Let me know in the comments, and please keep the conversation respectful, because I know I've shaped many tables on this one. Thank you for joining this analysis. If you were to join the next one, I remain yours truly, Joseph Osayamo Iguanre, aka Jojo Namani. I'll see you in my next post, definitely.